Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Katie Asco from Dublin, Ireland, and these are your latest headlines from around the world. As Americans await the Supreme Court ruling on Dobbs v. Jackson, which could overturn Roe v. Wade, an expansive bill attempting to codify the right to abortion has been defeated in the Senate on Wednesday, May 11th. The bill, called the Women's Health Protection Act, was defeated 51 to 49. The defeat of the bill was hailed by Archbishop William Lowry of Baltimore, chairman of the Catholic Bishops' Committee on Pro-Life Activities, and Cardinal Timothy Dolan of New York, chairman of the Committee for Religious Liberty. In a statement, the two top prelates urged Congress to stop pushing abortion as a solution to the misery of women and young girls. They said in the statement, quote, "More than 60 million unborn children have already lost their lives to abortion, and countless women suffer from the physical and emotional trauma of abortion. This radical bill would add millions more to that tragic toll." Had this bill been passed, it would have retained the nationwide statutory right to abortion, overriding state curbs. A similar bill was also defeated in February. Cardinal Zen of Hong Kong, who has been an outspoken critic of the Chinese Communist government, has been released on bail hours after he was arrested, along with 4 others, by National Security Police on Wednesday, May 11th. The release came shortly after the Vatican raised concerns about the arrest of the Cardinal. According to the Financial Times, the nonagenarian top prelate was released from custody at the Chai Wan police station on Hong Kong Island on Wednesday night. It is reported that he was arrested for being the trustee of the 612 Humanitarian Relief Fund that meets the legal expenses of pro-democracy activists in the city. He has been charged with foreign collusion, an offence that invites strict penalties under the new national security law imposed by Beijing to curb dissent and stifle democracy. In 2002, he assumed charge of the Diocese of Hong Kong after serving as its coadjutor bishop for 6 years. 4 years later, he was made a cardinal by Pope Benedict XVI. In an emotional encounter, 2 Ukrainian women whose husbands are fighting Russian invaders in the besieged city of Mariupol met Pope Francis in the Vatican on Wednesday and described the plight of their husbands who are at the Azovstal steel plant. The plant is the last holdout of Ukrainian soldiers in the port city, and they are facing heavy shelling. Katerina and Yulia from Kiev and Lviv were able to talk to the Holy Father for a few moments, requesting his intervention in setting up a humanitarian corridor. The 2 women, who are on their way to Germany as refugees, came representing the 500 wives of soldiers fighting the Russians at the steel plant. Speaking to reporters, they said this meeting with the Pope will help save the lives of their husbands in Azovstal. The situation is grim, they said, adding that 700 wounded soldiers with gangrenous or amputated limbs and bodies are lying around awaiting a decent Christian burial. After a long delay due to the pandemic, 10 blesseds will finally be canonized by Pope Francis in the Vatican on Sunday, May 15th. Among them are 5 founders of religious orders and 3 martyrs. This year's ceremony marks a historic moment as the first Indian lay martyr, Blessed Lazarus Devasayam Pillai, will be raised to the altars. The other martyrs include Dutch Carmelite priest and journalist Titus Brandsma, who opposed Nazi ideology and was killed in a concentration camp during World War II, and Blessed Charles de Foucault, a French mystic, hermit, and promoter of interreligious dialogue, who was killed in Algeria. The canonization Mass will be celebrated in St. Peter's Square on a special outdoor altar by the Holy Father and is expected to be attended by thousands of believers, priests, nuns, bishops, and cardinals. In a move that disappointed believers and people who support the sanctity of life, the upper house of the Australian state of New South Wales has voted in favour of the second reading of a bill supporting euthanasia. This happened on Wednesday, May 11th, bringing the legalisation of assisted dying one step closer to the state. The bill was passed 20 to 17 in the Legislative Council after an hour of debate. If it is passed, New South Wales will become the last state in the country to legalise euthanasia. Next Wednesday, the bill is scheduled to reach the committee stage in case there are further amendments for debate. Once it is enshrined into law, it will allow the administration of lethal drugs to people with incurable diseases who are projected to have less than 6 months to live. It was a sad day for Nigerian believers on Wednesday when news emerged that a Catholic priest had died in the hands of his kidnappers. Chancellor of Kaduna Archdiocese in the north, Father Christian Emmanuel announced that Father Joseph Bacco died in captivity 8 weeks after he was captured. The priest was taken from his residence in Kudenda community in Chaikun local government area on March 8th. The Chancellor said that Father Bacco died between April 18th and 20th. It appears that the priest was ill and the kidnappers refused to allow him to take his pills. He also happened to witness the killing of his brother, after which his health condition worsened. Although his death has been confirmed, the body of Father Bacco is yet to be recovered. The Archbishop of KADUNA has extended his sympathies to the deceased priest's immediate family and assured them of his prayers. In the Philippines, a Catholic bishop has exhorted families torn by politics in the recent general election to engage in reconciliation. Bishop Julito Cortes said in his video message on Wednesday that, quote, "For all of us who went through this divisive election, we should forgive each other." He added that it is in need of the hour to nurture relationships with one another as family. The prelate also assured that the church would cooperate with the government for the welfare of the public, adding that the diocese would monitor the campaign promises made by the candidates. Lauding the winners of the election, he reminded them to always seek the grace of knowledge to see the will of God for his people. As anti-government protests are raging in Sri Lanka, seeking the resignation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the Holy Father Pope Francis said that he is joining with religious authorities in urging all sides involved to maintain a peaceful approach without giving in to violence. This appeal was made during the general audience at St. Peter's Square on Wednesday, May 11th. Widespread protests triggered by the economic crisis have been brewing for several months in the island nation. The largely peaceful protests turned violent this week when supporters of the government attacked demonstrators in the capital Colombo, resulting in the death of 8 people. This led to the resignation of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Separately in Negombo, which is the Catholic heartland of Sri Lanka, priests and nuns joined hands with Muslim community leaders to prevent sectarian violence on May 10th, when an armed mob began torching shops owned by Muslims and assaulting residents. Those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow and visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.